Christmas in the Trenches, Humanity Amid War. The scene opens on a cold, snowy battlefield. The eerie silence is interrupted only by the faint hum of distant Christmas carols drifting across the trenches. It's a contrast that feels impossibly poignant. The brutality of war set against the warmth and hope of Christmas. Christmas is a time that calls for unity, love, and celebration. But throughout history, there have been extraordinary moments where even amidst destruction, humanity found a way to shine. This is where our story begins, a look at how war gave way to peace, if only briefly. This video is not simply a history lesson. It's a tribute to the human spirit, a reminder, especially during the holiday season, that even in the darkest of times, there is light to be found in compassion. War is often fought in grueling, unforgiving conditions, but winter brings an added burden. Freezing temperatures, scarce supplies, and endless days were the reality for soldiers during some of history's epic conflicts. And yet, in the midst of these struggles, the holiday season managed to transcend the battlefield. Christmas was, and still is, a symbol of hope. Throughout time, it has stood as a moment to pause, reflect, and come together. For soldiers stranded in trenches, far from their families and homes, Christmas sparked something universal, a longing for peace, no matter which uniform they wore. Among the most remarkable examples of this humanity during wartime stands the famous Christmas Truce of 1914. It has since become a symbol of what is possible when we dare to set aside our differences. In the first year of World War I, as the bitter cold of December settled over the Western Front, countless soldiers found themselves stationed in muddy trenches, their spirits dampened by the relentless reality of war. It was during this time that a moment of profound humanity emerged, seemingly out of nowhere. On Christmas Eve, the German army adorned their trenches with candles and small Christmas trees, their warm glow cutting through the cold night. Carols, sung in German voices, echoed across no man's land, the stretch of barren land between opposing trenches. The British soldiers, curious and moved by the sound of familiar Christmas melodies, responded with their own songs. Slowly, the unimaginable happened. Soldiers began to cautiously emerge from their trenches. With their hands raised to show no intent to harm, they ventured into no man's land to meet the very men they had been fighting just hours earlier. In this sliver of no man's land, something remarkable took place. Soldiers exchanged humble gifts, tins of food, chocolate, cigarettes, and buttons. They showed family photos to each other and laughed at the tidbits of shared language they could understand. Perhaps the most iconic image of this truce is the improvised football matches. Using makeshift balls, soldiers from both sides joined together to play, laughing and enjoying what, for many, had been the first moment of normalcy in months. But as heartfelt as this brief peace was, it couldn't last. Commands from higher authorities eventually ordered soldiers to return to their trenches. Hostilities resumed. However, the memory of those fleeting moments stayed with the men who experienced them. The Christmas Truce of 1914 serves as one of history's most poignant examples of how even in the depths of despair, humanity can find its way to the surface. The Christmas Truce of 1914 is not the only time that soldiers have paused war for the holidays. While less documented, countless other moments remind us that this spirit of peace has a way of enduring. Along the Italian front during World War I, Italian and Austrian soldiers reportedly shared moments of connection during the holiday season. Though the harshness and organization of war often made such truces fleeting, even the small gestures carried immense weight. A shared meal across enemy lines or a quiet moment of prayer in the middle of battle offered glimpses of the humanity on both sides. World War II brought a new wave of conflict, but soldiers still found ways to defy orders to fraternize during Christmas. In some cases, enemy soldiers left tokens of food or small notes as silent gestures of goodwill. And though elaborate truces were harder to achieve, the spirit of Christmas influenced moments of unexpected kindness in the unlikeliest of places. In more modern conflicts, less formally documented but no less significant, holiday truces have continued to emerge. Despite overwhelming odds and mistrust, human connection flickers through in moments where soldiers choose peace over war, if only for a short while. These instances are a testament to the unyielding nature of our shared humanity. They demonstrate that the need for connection, so deeply tied to the holiday season, goes beyond weapons and borders. Why, we might ask, in the midst of one of the most violent chapters in human history, did soldiers decide to pause for Christmas? The answer lies in something profoundly universal: the need to find meaning, even when chaos surrounds us. For the men in those trenches, Christmas acted as a symbol, a reminder of normalcy, of family, of a world that existed outside the front lines. These soldiers were humans before they were fighters. And the act of celebrating Christmas connected them, even to their so-called enemies, in a way that transcended orders and politics. The fleeting nature of these truces does not diminish their importance. Instead, it highlights the power of small, human moments to leave an enduring impact. These acts of peace remind us that no matter how divided we may feel by ideologies or circumstances, the capacity for kindness is universal. As we reflect on these stories in our modern-day lives, it is worth drawing parallels. Our world, too, faces its fair share of conflict, be it political, social, or personal. And yet, just as those soldiers found moments to come together, so too can we. Among the many accounts of wartime Christmas truces, there are stories that highlight the deeply personal experiences of the men involved. One British soldier wrote home about shaking hands with an enemy soldier, marveling at how, for a brief time, he had seen the man not as a target, but as a human being. Another story describes a German soldier producing a harmonica to accompany shared carols. Something as simple as Silent Night bridged a language gap, touching everyone present with its universal message of peace. Such stories reflect more than just historical events. They are testaments to humanity's unshakable spirit in the face of unimaginable odds. Through the use of rich archival materials, reenactments, and immersive narration, this video brings history vividly to life. Viewers will glimpse rugged trenches glowing with candlelight and hear the soft strains of Christmas carols echoing through the chaos. Through these sights and sounds, we hope to evoke the emotions that these soldiers must have felt on those unforgettable nights. Video reenactments of simple, honest gestures, men shaking hands, exchanging photographs, smiling nervously at their former adversaries, will serve as poignant visual reminders of the truce's magic. Background scores of familiar Christmas melodies will transition into reflective orchestras, mirroring the bittersweet nature of these moments. As this story comes to an end, we ask viewers to reflect not just on the courage of these soldiers, but on the enduring hope that they represent. Today, on our own front lines of division, be it political, cultural, or personal, we are called upon to remember the lesson of the trenches. Small gestures of goodwill can create ripples of understanding. Choosing empathy, even toward those with whom we disagree, can build small bridges that lead to larger breakthroughs. This holiday season, may we all embrace the spirit of humanity that shines so brightly in these moments of history. Like those soldiers in the trenches, let us set aside our differences, reach out with kindness, and celebrate what unites us, rather than what divides us. The video closes with a final moving quote: "Peace on earth will come to stay when we live Christmas every day." As the words fade, the audience is left with the glow of candlelight and the soft hum of Silent Night. Humanity's capacity for kindness is timeless. Even amidst war, Christmas reminds us of who we are and who we have the potential to be.